Got my new t-shirt on, and here I am out here sweating like a runaway slave. There's just, for some reason, it is kind of humid. What?
I'm just laughing at what you just said for YouTube.
Hey y'all, this is Billy from Perfect Pastures Farm. All right, check it out. We got this. If you go back, watch that video where Justin from Metcalf Mills came out here and terraced this for us. Now, all we initially wanted was a footpath, but we got a legit path up there. I mean, you could legitimately drive an ATV on it, which is great because it's far more than what I expected. Okay, so just briefly, what's going to happen up this hill is it's going to be terraced, and we're going to have access points all the way up, almost like switchbacks up a mountain. But this is what William is calling pimp level 1. Okay, so all these flags, we put these in. This is how we start every single orchard or food forest. You see this flag? We start out with that. You should really start out on paper, but when you're ready to get onto the ground, use these. They're really good representations of where your trees are going to be. Now, every orange flag I have here is going to be a nitrogen fixing tree. Here, it's probably going to be a red bud, a mimosa, or a black locust. We got plenty of black locusts up in here, so we're going to probably switch it up with a little bit of red bud because I just love the color of them, you know, certain times of the year. But anyway, this one is a nitrogen fixer. Our white ones are all fruit trees, okay? Or nut tree. It can be any number of things. Okay, so what we did first, we already covered this. And folks, by the way, so many people have asked about this. We're going to put all of this into a playlist explaining what to do, because even though we have a terrace here, it would be no different by and large in terms of planting than how you would do it in, let's say, if you were in a swale or on a swale. Whereas depending on where you are on a swale, you'd be, you know, planting your trees on the mound. Well, we're going up the side of a mountain. We're going to do things here, and we're in a rainforest, for crying out loud. It's even wet right now. So we're going to, for all of you out there that have been asking all these questions about how to do this, we're going to give it to you step by step all the way through this process. Now, this is going to take some time. Even though these flags represent productive trees, we don't actually plant any fruit trees until the winter or probably the late fall. It all depends on how things are going. Basically, when the leaves are off deciduous trees, that's time for us to plant, because then all the rest of the winter is putting down good roots. Check out that guy from Oklahoma State if you want to get a really, really good understanding about how that all works. It's basically like everything else, is the polar opposite of what we've been officially told. And his name was Carl Whitcomb from Oklahoma State. If anybody wants to look him up, check out his work. Okay, so all we're going to do right now, we've already scatter mulched, but beneath all that is buckwheat and a legume, in this case, cowpea. That's going to give this soil some structure, because all we had up in here was the pigs wiped out all the thicket. You can't hardly tell it, but right there's the remnant of what they're working on right now, and they're about ready to move, and they're going to go up and up and up the mountain. Okay, back to this. So here we go. We got our seeds down. We got a scatter mulch on there. And yeah, we do it a lot thicker than most. It's worked and served us well. And plus, this gets some pretty intense sunlight. Don't want to fry those seeds, right? Okay, so we got that down. I know where my trees are going. So what else can I plant? Okay, well, I got a bucket right here, and I'm going to show you what that is. Bam! I've had this comfrey in this bucket ever since we did that first harvest video. It had no water, no nothing. That's how resilient this stuff is. It's just in this bucket growing, and it was even in the dark garage. But anyway, we're going to go over here. We're going to take this ramp up there, and then I'm going to take it from I'm going to explain a little bit more about it. All right, here we are, y'all. Pimp level 2. That was 1 down there. We just had a brief argument discussing which level was which, and it's going to go all the way up to the top of this mountain before it's all said and done. So we have our little ramp there, which we're probably going to add some cool rock steps to. And this thing is going to keep having switchbacks all the way up this mountain. So many cool things. It's not just going to be fruit. There's going to be nut. There's going to be all kinds of awesome stuff. Sepp Holzer style, y'all. Same guy I got that bone sauce recipe initially from. We changed it up a bit, but that's another story. Okay, so why do I have this comfrey? What else am I going to do? Okay, y'all, I just got these seeds in. I got to basically, it's best to do everything all at once. We got 1,000,001 things going on around here. I can't just neglect all this stuff. So I got to do it in between the raindrops. Forgive the pun. So what I know right here, here's how this is going to go down, y'all. Okay, I'm not actually planning on planting a tree anywhere here until Justin first goes through and does his earthworks. Now let me bring back, folks, I'm going to say something that is very, very profound, and I assumed a lot of people knew it. And that is, do your earthworks first. Don't plant your trees and then wonder later on, like a guy we know, William's probably laughing behind the counter right now, where we put in an entire orchard of trees, talked about the earthworks that we should have done beforehand, and then after it was all said and done and the trees were about 6 months along, this clown wanted to put in swales after the trees were planted. Look, I know there's a lot of folks out there with varying degrees of understanding in this sort of thing, but believe me, always do whatever earthworks you're going to do them on the front end. Do not try to do it on the back end. It can be done, but it's a pain, and honestly, it's a foolish mistake that you shouldn't have to make. Okay, with that said, got all the basics knocked out. Okay, I know this is going to be a productive tree, right? So, on Patreon, I explain to folks how I use a shovel a lot of times when I'm out here digging holes as a barometer, okay? I use a shovel to basically, to a certain length on that shovel, I plant a certain number of things. Another further distance out, and I have little marks on the shovel that I use as a measuring stick, basically, when I'm already out digging. Well, I don't have any of that, but what I do know is I am going to have a fruit tree here. Okay, got my cover crop down, and we're going to tell you in the future what we're going to do with that when the time is right and what's going to replace it. But, got this down. I'm not actually going to plant the tree until that's terraced up above it. But what I am going to do is I can go ahead, see if I can get a hold of something here. I got some comfrey. Look at that one. Look at that big old root right there, comfrey root. And it's coming out, like I said, it was in the dark. Okay? I know this is going to be my tree, and I also have this comfrey that I know is going to do a bunch of things. It's a dynamic accumulator. We've done a number of videos already of all the wonderful benefits of it. And I'm not gonna belabor the point, y'all. I'm not a salesman, but we do have it for sale at the website. Should you require some, act now. We'll throw in some Ginsu knives. Okay, I had to do the joke. But anyway, I know this is going to be a productive tree, and I know that I can plant comfrey any time of the year when I can work the soil. And literally around every tree, I always recommend that we do at least 2, 3's better. But because I may have potential erosion issues, I really don't think it's going to be much here. I'm probably going to plant 4 around each one of them for a variety of reasons. Because we cannot grow enough of this. The pigs eat it. The chickens eat it. The baby pigs eat it. The sheep eat it. I mean, you name it. Everything. The birds eat it. Yeah, even the dog eats it, y'all. Yeah, but I won't even go into the long history of what else this dog has been known to eat. These are Michelle's dogs, by the way. Anyway, I got me a bucket of comfrey here. I'm ready to put this stuff in the ground. And all I'm going to do, I got my little trowel here. I'm going to come out, and it doesn't have to be that exact. For me, and let me go ahead and address something else. A lot of people talk about this debate on whether or not how close you should plant your comfrey. And people have, as of late, a lot of people have asked about that. As far as that distancing, y'all, I mean, I like it personally further away because if it grows really well, it's going to have quite a space on it. I mean, I've seen it as far as this far out, you know. So if it's that far out, you know, maybe I want to put it right about here. Plus, also, it is remember, this is permaculture, y'all. Everything that I'm going to use for chop and drop is going to be in very close proximity to that tree that I'm about to plant. Also, up here, we're going to give you a straight up demonstration of what I talked about before. Like in this, let's say this is an apple, right? You know what we're going to do? In that same exact hole as the apple, and probably at the same time, we're going to plant a nitrogen fixing tree in the same hole that we intend to coppice, cut it off at the base, use it as a mulch layer down here along with this comfrey. Here it is. All my fertilizer is right here on the spot. Can't beat that, huh? So with that said, look, I'm gonna use this calibrated eye of mine, and I'm gonna come out roughly around every single productive tree. I'm gonna come somewhere around, let's say, this is roughly 5 feet, and it's really this simple. This is all I've ever done when it comes to planting comfrey root. You get a lot of instructions out there. I put this stuff down about 2 inches deep. I'm gonna stick it in there. It's kind of sandy right here, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay, got that side planted. I'm gonna go ahead and grab me another one. The stuff I got in this bucket is stuff we didn't even feel like it was, we didn't even sell it. I mean, and the whole reason why, you know, I could probably just do all this with my hands. Sometimes I'll just pull it back like so, stick it in. We didn't even sell this stuff because it didn't, you know, somebody would feel like they were getting ripped off. But I mean, these are pieces we didn't even want to sell. We were just gonna use them here, even though we know doggone well it's gonna work just fine. And like I said, these are, I mean, look at this. They're coming off of pieces like this. And like I said, we don't even sell it. So, I mean, how cool is that? This stuff is very resilient, good for chop and drop, good for fodder, good for just about everything. Sound like I am a salesman for real. Okay, here it is. I'm just gonna come down a little bit more right here. Bam. There we go. So I got 3 right here. I can go ahead and put one up on the top side. It doesn't make sense to do that right now because Justin is going to wind up, that's exactly why I'm not going to put the tree in or anything else. Justin's going to wind up putting another terrace up here. So, you know, obviously until that's done, I'm not going to do anything above this line right here. I'm reasonably sure that he's going to be far enough up there to where when he puts that soil on the downhill side that it's not going to necessarily mess with this flag, because we're going to have a wider spacing going up this mountain than we typically do, for a whole bunch of reasons. All right, so we're gonna walk all the way down. Look at, man, look at how cool this is. All right, here's a nitrogen fixer. And I think I heard it say, I want some comfrey too. Okay, Mr. Nitrogen Fixer. Okay, I'm gonna come off, do the same exact thing all over again. I'm just gonna, like I said, you can get all high tech and fancy if you want to. That's really all I do when it comes to comfrey. And, you know, I need this stuff very accessible. Look at that, and that's a long root. Like I said, this is the stuff we didn't even sell, y'all. In fact, the stuff we do sell, I mean, everybody thus far seems to be, you know, what we give you compared to what some of the other folks do out there, it's, you know, just different. We do it a little bit differently. Okay, that nitrogen fixer's got some, so guess where else we can put this? Let's come on down here. Sorry, y'all. Got my new t-shirt on, and here I am out here sweating like a runaway slave. It's just, for some reason, it is kind of humid. What?
I'm just laughing at what you just said for you two.
Hey, man, this is real. Okay, y'all, so down there is the pond that, yeah, we got a scatter mulch all in there and everything right now. We're throwing everything at it right now. And you can't really see it, but coming all the way down there, that's where the water went anyway. So this is a means to kind of stop the water a little bit. It's not going to stop it. It's just, we're just borrowing it for a little bit in that little pocket pond. And that's an experiment. But you know what? I can put comfrey all around that sucker if I want to. Why not? I mean, we cannot grow enough of this stuff. Like I said, we use it in the compost. We use it with all of our animals. You know, comfrey tea, we can use it as a starter for our compost. We do all this stuff with comfrey, so there's no shortage of it. But you know, when it's all said and done, because I have so much left, you know, I'm gonna adorn the side of this pond over by the spillway. Now, I'm not actually gonna put anything on the dam side of this thing. That's not what you wanna do. In fact, there are some things we're gonna put over there, but things specially made for that. So all I'm gonna do now, folks, it's really this simple. I'm gonna take the rest of what I have in that bucket. Well, actually, probably not, because there's a whole lot in that bucket. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm getting ahead of the game. Like I said, we're gonna do an entire playlist of start to finish how we do this. So just to kind of recap, get your earthworks done, okay? Do that first. Put your cover crop in. Now, it's summer. If it were winter, I'd be doing something totally different. If it were winter, we could talk about what that would be. Or in the fall, there'd be something different as well. Get that done. Put that down. Scatter mulch. water it in until it starts coming around. And then at the same time, go ahead and mark out where your trees are going to go. You could have done that even before you did any of the scatter mulching. And then all the things I can plant right now, I'm going to plant. Comfrey doesn't need to wait on me. It doesn't need to wait until fall. It doesn't have any of those concerns. I can put all that stuff in right now. You know, think about the other things that are going to go in your guild. Start getting those things right now. For example, let's say if you want things in your guild like garlic, you're going to have that eventually, if that's something you want to do. Daffodils is a must. For a whole variety of reasons, not the least of which being, you know, if you got a deer problem, well, daffodils are going to help with that to some extent. Not as good as that bone sauce we got, but it does help. Let's say you're around every tree, we're going to have a couple of nitrogen fixing shrubs. It could be sea buckthorn. It could be any number of other things that we put around there. Then also we're going to put blueberries. So this is a nitrogen fixer, but there's no reason that it can't have a blueberry situated. It could be a low bush blueberry going right here, a high bush maybe. It could be any number of things, but this tree does not have to be alone. It's going to have friends, just like the fingers of your hand. Your thumb doesn't work alone. It works with all the rest of them if you still got them. So think about all those things. Think about all your stuff and you put together that you want to put together to be able to make an orchard happen. But right now, folks, the cover, I want to get all this done because once this stuff starts coming in, I don't want to be stomping around up here. I need to be able to plant it and be able to move out until it's time to go ahead and give a scalping to what's going to come up. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, y'all. Just know that we got cowpea and buckwheat in here right now, and that's what we want to see come up. Later on, I'm going to show you exactly what we did. If you're interested on what we did, some of our very first videos on this were the Permaculture at Work series that I did. Yeah, the quality isn't nothing to write home about, and you know, probably ain't a whole lot better now. But the point being is that in there, I did exactly the same process in in zone 9A, I believe. So these techniques and methods work everywhere. You just got to go ahead and kind of fine tune what you need for each location. Anyway, I'm going to get over here. I'm going to quit yapping right now. I'm going to get out here, go ahead and plant this comfrey because I got a lot of other things to do, y'all. So remember, if you need comfrey, come check us out at the website. We got some left, and then we're going to be out until the fall. Then we'll have another batch in. So, folks, remember, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Stay tuned because I'm telling you what, folks, over the next couple of months, we are going to be doing some unbelievable things out here, things that just keep me awake at night in a very good way. So, well, till next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. We'll see y'all next time.